Hi everyone! If you're like me and you like drinking wine regularly and entertaining, it's always nice to have a few bottles lying around so you don't have to pop to the store every time somebody comes by. But what to buy? Well, I recommend stocking these 7 different wine styles. First up, sparkling wine. You never know when somebody's going to give you some good news, and it's nice to be able to whip out a celebratory bottle right there and then. Obviously, there's a difference between, I just learned how to whistle, and my boyfriend proposed. So you might want to get 2 different options, something a little more affordable for life's little triumphs, and something fancier for the big moments. So affordable bubbles. Even though you're spending less, you want to get something that you still enjoy drinking. So what I recommend doing is buying the top tier classification or hierarchy of a more budget-friendly sparkling region. If you like delicate fresh fruit aromas and soft bubbles, you could go with Prosecco at the Superiore DOCG level. If you prefer the more vigorous, firm bubbles of champagne with those lovely bakery sort of biscuit brioche aromas, you can go for Cava at the Reserva Gran Reserva level or Cremant. Check out the link above to watch my video on affordable champagne alternatives. Moving on to the fancy fizz. Obviously champagne is the classic choice here, and if you really want to go all out, you can get something vintage dated or one of the prestige cuvées of a non-vintage wine. But don't forget that really delicious top drawer sparkling wine is being made all over the globe nowadays, potentially in your own backyard, and drinking local is awesome. Moving right along to your everyday wines. I like to drink a glass of white wine while I'm cooking dinner, and for that I'm looking for something that's light, that's crisp, that's dry, generally unoaked, something that's as refreshing as lemonade on a hot summer's day. These are also the kind of aperitif pre-dinner wines I would serve at a dinner party, or with really light fare like oysters or grilled fish or salads. So easy go-to wines here would be Sauvignon Blanc, obviously. Dry Riesling is also really nice. If you want something a little bit different, you could try Albarino from northern Spain, you could try Gruner Veltliner from Austria, or a Certico made mainly on the island of Santorini in Greece. The second white wine that I recommend stocking is a richer, fuller-bodied white. If you're cooking things like poultry, something in a cream-based sauce, soft cheeses, things along those lines, you'll need something a little weightier than the first whites that I mentioned. So a great obvious choice here would be an oaked Chardonnay, but be careful because Chardonnay can really run the gamut from very lean in mineral to very rich and overt and tropical. Good alternatives here, northern and southern Rhone Valley white wines. You can get nice examples of these grapes also from Paso Robles in California or Victoria in Australia. And lastly, Pinot Gris from Alsace, especially Grand Cru, have a lovely weight, texture, and fruit that'll work really nicely here. Moving on to red wine, I recommend stocking several different types of red wine, starting with a light red or potentially a rosé. And this is great for guests who aren't such a fan of white wines. They'll go great with all of the dishes that I suggested over here in those fuller-bodied white wines. And grapes that work well would be Pinot Noir, Gamay, potentially Cabernet Franc. And if you want to go a little bit off the beaten track, you can try Nerello Mascalese is a grape that grows in Sicily, and the examples grown on the Mount Etna DOC are particularly lovely. The second red that I recommend stocking is more of an all-rounder. Light-bodied reds tend to have quite tart acidity. Full-bodied wines often have a lot of tannin, big massive fruit. If you want something a little smoother, a little rounder, a little more medium-bodied to go with your more everyday fare, I think that Côte de Rhône works particularly well. And if you want something with a little bit more body and depth, you can look for Côte de Rhône Village. Great alternatives here would be Valpolicella, for example, from northern Italy. Or if you like a little bit of vanilla spice oaked character, you could try a Rioja at the Reserva level. And finally, a full-bodied red. If you're eating something with bold flavors, I'm not talking spice here, I'm talking about big red meats, hard cheeses, you're gonna want a wine of equal weight. So traditional choices would be a Cabernet Merlot blend, Bordeaux, Napa Valley if you want something a little bit fruitier. Malbec is also a great full-bodied choice, Syrah for example. If you want to try something from a little further afield, you can try a Douro Red from northern Portugal. You could try a Grenache Carignan blend from the Priorat in Spain. There's all kinds of options. These are just a couple choices that come to mind. So I hope this helps you with your next trip to the wine store. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to reach out. And if you like this video, consider subscribing to my channel. Until next time, santé!